So similarly, it will take time in music as well. So you can't just expect to write a song and release it, and people will love it. They'll shower you with money. It's not that easy.
Met some people that I didn't know, faces from hell, and they say hello with a smile. Won't you stay for a while? Heavy lungs and my lonely cigar, trail of ashes just to leave a scar, and this will heal.
So, hey everyone. Wait, again. So, hey everyone, the good people of the internet. Today we have with us none other than, like, these guys don't need an introduction. We have dads in the park. Guys, do you want to say something, please? Please.
Hello, guys. How's it going? Everybody listening
What's up?
to this podcast?
We're Dads in the Park. Thank you so much for having us. We're really happy to be here.
We're really happy to be here. It's a great pleasure to talk to people across the border to explain the journey that we went through and everything that we. Yeah, it's always.
I don't know about the audience, but I am hell fucking excited for this one. Come on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It's been a long time we did an interview or a podcast with anybody. It's been some time. So it was great. During 2020 pandemic, I think we've had podcasts every few days because everything was through the internet.
Yes.
So this for us, this is like after a very long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So before I come to Dads in the Park, which I love from the bottom of my heart, I would like to ask a question which I don't think is only my question. It's a burning question for all the listeners, music listeners out there. Is tell us, or if I am being greedy, tell me your individual journey through music, and then we'll compile that together into Dads in the Park. Let's go.
Awesome.
All right.
Somebody?
Okay. You want me to start?
Yeah,
all right. So I've always been a pretty shy person. So I started my music journey by playing guitar. I started guitar. I was super shy. I never wanted to sing in front of my teacher. But eventually I started singing in my room. And I think it took me 9 years to release my first song with Dads in the Park. So yeah, that is how I started. I didn't have any other bands. This is my first band. I have done a few solo gigs, but that's about it.
Yes. Mr. Tajwar, would you like to say?
Actually, I have an older brother. So given that, he used to be a musician, or he was always a music enthusiast, which is why I did get introduced to doing music at an early stage. I had my first band in 2007. I was a baby back then. So everything I did, it was done because of my older brother and any other senior musicians that I've known back then. But for me back then, it was just about playing whatever I wanted because I didn't know how the music industry would work, or how, if this music is something that you can pursue, or if it's something that you can, I don't know, make money out of or do a lot of things with. I only thought I wanted to play music, and that's when I started my band. I had a band called -2, and we had our journey from 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11. We had it for a long run, probably, but we had our ups and downs. And then due to personal reasons, the band had to scatter. My older brother had to go abroad. My friends had to go different places. They joined other bands and stuff. And so that's where my journey with my previous band ended. I had two other bands where I played bass in one band. It was a metal band called Absentia. And I had another band called Vowels where I played the drums. Because I'm a person of instruments. I can't sing. So instruments are my go-to thing for music. And so I always wanted to experiment with different things. So I had a rock band, or a new alternative rock band called -2 where I played the guitar. I had a grunge rock band where I played the drums, and I had a metalcore band where I played the bass. So I wanted to experiment every instrument in every genre, try to make sure that everything that I like can be expressed through instruments only and not through voice, since I can't sing or even write songs. That's when I came up with
No, he
this
can
guy.
sing. He's just
I'm not,
shy.
and I'm not, oh my God, I'm the last shy person on earth that you'll ever find. I'm not shy. I can't sing for shit. That's what I like to believe as of yet. Up until you see me on stage someday, or maybe in an album or a song where I'm the sole singer. If that ever happens, that's when you'll know. That's when everyone will know that I accept that I can sing. Other than that, I don't think I'll ever accept that I can sing. So that's basically my journey up until 2017, where we started Dance in the Park properly.
Yeah.
Wow. Totally, they've experimented with every instrument we can think of as a child. We have passions and hobbies and stuff.
Yeah, but I didn't really have. I was always fascinated by instruments because I was just always fascinated by instruments, which is why even pianos and violins, I used to bring keyboards from my friends to see if I can play them. I used to bring I brought a violin for my friend once because I thought violins had frets and it's probably easy, just as guitar. And I took a month to learn it, and it's hard as shit. It's not an easy instrument. Pick that up. But I was always fascinated, which is why I always saw YouTube covers of videos and videos of other instruments, like everything that I've mentioned right now. I've always been fascinated by them, which is why I've gone to YouTube and like, yo, I want to see what this song's bass part looks like, or what this song's piano part looks like. So it always caught me in my attention. So which is why I specialize in instruments amongst the two of us, actually. That's about it. That's about it. Till Dance in the yeah.
Wow. So it took for you also it's kind of a 9-10 year journey through the instruments and bands and music and stuff.
It is. But I did have the journey, which Ishram missed out on because he didn't have a band before. And I wouldn't have had a band if it wasn't for my older brother. But I was always into instruments like he was. I played guitar all my life. I covered songs by myself. I did sing. I'm a bathroom singer in a way. So I did sing songs by myself all the time. So I was always into music in general, but by myself. And the only reason I had my bands is because of my older brother who started it with me. So that's my opportunity that I had.
Wow. Wow, pretty fascinating. Yes. Also, it's an important question for me. What kind of musical influences you both grew up with? What did you listen like? The first song you listened like me was it Led Zeppelin or something?
Oh yeah, Ishram probably missed out on that conversation. Oh, he was introduced by he says he used to listen to songs like Honey Sing and everything else, which he is embarrassed about. But I told him that they are musicians as well, whether you like them or
No,
not.
we all gotta start somewhere.
We all
See,
gotta start.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he got introduced to Led Zeppelin by his sister, and so he started out with Legends of the '70s. So that's a great start.
ooh,
I'm gonna say great start is because if you go tell anybody what are the first influences you have, and if you say Led Zeppelin, they'll respect you because everybody respects Led Zeppelin.
Yes, man. Come on. We can't disrespect Jimmy Page playing a Stairway to Heaven solo.
It's Robert Plant, man, all the way, no doubt.
Oh my God, his vocals! He just rips apart his entire fucking. I don't know what the fuck he does.
So for me, I would like to start. For me, influences where I started off with Linkin Park as did everybody else, but all the music that I used to listen to were all different from the kind of music that I make right now. I was always into metal, so Metallica, Iron Maiden, Pantera, and Limp Bizkit. These are the first few bands in my lifetime, which I can remember back in 2002 and 3. Korn, a lot of nu metal, Slipknot, and Lamb of God, and
Oh fuck yes.
Slam. Those are some super heavy stuff that I used to listen to. And then I obviously grew into more music through CDs and friends and everything else. And then the internet, of course. And then it got softer and softer in the sound aspect. I went from heavy metal to now I listen to a lot of pop, even pop as in Billboard pop music. Once people would look down on in the sense that, oh, you listen to Ed Sheeran, oh, you're so cliche.
Come on, man. Some songs of Ed Sheeran are beautiful.
I don't give a
Sheeran
shit.
is really great.
I love Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, Harry Styles, everybody else. The pop.
I even listen to Justin Bieber sometimes. It's good to listen to all because you don't know
know
where ideas and inspirations will scatter.
I have
Right,
no
right.
than that, I love JB myself. I have no shame in admitting that. But other than that, I was always into metal. But I am still into metal, heavily not influenced by metal, but I am still a huge fan of metal music. I'm not going to say influenced because I don't put them in my art. So I'm not going to say I'm influenced by them. But obviously, I've played guitar all my life and I've always played metal all my life. So I was a huge fan of Children of Bodom. And then the rock songs, I'm going to name few bands, which are Alter Bridge, Kings of Leon, Linkin Park, I guess, and Muse, Blink 182, Sum 41. These are the bands that I ended up when I went with the curve of my heaviness, and these are the ones that I still stick to. And then Ishmael, you can start with your influences.
Wow.
Well, I was always surrounded by music. So because my mom used to be a singer, so I always had music growing up. And after I started playing the guitar, I started listening to songs which had more guitar parts in them. You know what I mean? So I slowly got into my first influence was John Denver. I love Anjan Datta. And eventually I got into Alter Bridge. Alter Bridge is still my favorite band, although I don't like their new material. But classic Alter Bridge is still my favorite. I love Kings of Leon. We both love the new Bring Me the Horizon. So yeah, we have some similar tastes, and I think that is where we shine.
I think that is where the chemistry grows, and that's probably where we figured out that we probably might have a common ground where we can write our own stuff in a way that we were influenced.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a pretty healthy amalgamation of it's just a healthy musical diet.
Yeah.
So if I give 2 minutes of my rant, it would be at the very first I used to listen to a lot of songs like Here's a Wall. It's filled with bands from Pink Floyd to Opeth to Deep Purple to Poets of Fall to fucking every band that exists on earth. This is a band wall kind of. I've destroyed my home, and the first I was really drawn into instrumental stuff. I don't know why from the very beginning, and I first heard Steve Vai, For the Love of God.
All right.
And that was the first time I thought, okay, let's play guitar. But when I first tried to play For the Love of God, I was like, okay, let's quit guitar. Just freaking impossible. Come on now. And after that, I listened to a lot of more of his songs like Tender Surrender and stuff. I was like, oh my god, it's just another level. Then I discovered Joe Satriani, that 8-string got Tosin Abasi. Now some new age guitar heroes like Tim Henson.
Okay.
I love Tosin Abasi.
Yes,
I love his
thumping concept.
Yes. Oh, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
No, since I used to listen to metal, Tosin Abasi, I listen to Animals as Leaders. That's how I got it.
Some songs, Animals of Leaders, has some songs like you can't just figure out the timing which is going on over there. It's switching from 7 4 to 6.
I don't think you're supposed to try to figure things out because it's so messed up.
Exactly. It's distorted, it just doesn't make sense. Then I gradually shifted to a lot of prog side of things. I really loved prog. I love Pliny as a musician. I love that monster Jason Richardson. Just a fucking
Jason is crazy. I fucking love him.
And his band Chelsea Green used to play on is just fucking amazing. It's just a lot of things, a mix of a diet of new age and old age bands, kind of like an amalgamation. Like it's kind of, I think
right.
Supposed to be in a mixture of. Sometimes it feels good to listen to Black Sabbath. Sometimes it feels good to listen to Rolling Stones. Again, sometimes it feels good to listen to a lot of pop songs as art.
And you'll always go back to them no matter what. No matter how old you are, you'll always go back to your roots. That is how
you always appreciate, even if you don't listen to them frequently nowadays, you still go back thinking, shit, man, I used to love them back in the days and they were freaking awesome. So you'll always respect your roots. Yes, absolutely. One important question I would like to ask from you guys. You guys have been doing music for a long while. What do you think the word musician actually means? Maybe for a new artist who is starting out as a musician.
What are your thoughts and ideas and perspectives who would like to shine on this word, musician or / artist?
It's crazy. That's a different.
Well, that's a difficult question. Well, I think it varies from person to person. To me, any sort of art form is expressing what you can say through words. I mean, lyrics are words, but the way I write my music, I don't say things in a straightforward manner. I like to use analogies. So there are some things like, for example, um, this is just an example. This is nothing serious. All right. Let's say my girlfriend is talking to a guy friend, and I don't want to say it out loud that I'm jealous. So I find another way to express myself. It might be through song, it might be through art, it might be through poetry, it can be anything. So I think that is what makes someone an artist. You
The
can
proper
send,
terminology for this question is everybody says it. It's I think it's self-expression in any form.
yeah, it is what it is.
Pretty much.
It's just expression. It's just a valley of um, just another way, another domain for expressing something that you wouldn't do
Sort of.
otherwise in front of the public.
Right,
Came out. I
right.
think it came out. I don't think it just limits to expressing something that you're feeling right now. I think it's like
Yeah,
a long, which is since for let's say for several thousand years back when there was no recording devices, people still probably did write songs. I mean, Lalon. I can only give you one example. Lalon is the only thing that I probably
yeah,
know of. They probably wrote music without thinking, I want thousands of people who are not present in front of me to listen to this some other day. That's not how he wrote songs. He felt what he did and he said what he said in his form. And whoever was present, only they got to experience it because there's no such thing as recording or, other devices to listen to the song again. And the only time you get to listen to that song is when he expresses it. And when he expresses it, it's probably that's when he writes his music. That's his expression. So but nowadays, for if you wanna say what a musician is, I think it goes back to what Isham just said. Expression that you would want to express in a form of music, and you can use words in a melody to say make it seem nicer. And sometimes it also obviously matters how you say your words. You can't just go. I mean, you can, however you want. And you can just go
yeah,
screaming happy lyrics, pretending that you're angry. You can, but it's probably doesn't gonna go hand in hand. Most people, you would want to. I mean, in the textbook formula, it's like when you're screaming, metal songs are usually about rage and everything else. That's how the genre is started. That's what I think. And then softer songs are how you express your sadness, or your darker songs are how you express your depression or anything else. That's how it all started. That's how the genres came out to be. So I think being a musician just means use your music for your self-expression, which is a form of art. So every musician's an artist, I like to believe.
Oh,
my 2 cents.
that's some philosophical stuff. You wouldn't let me sleep tonight. Come on. What about uh, what's your thoughts on what are your thoughts on the music industry in general?
The worldwide music industry or just our country's industry?
Okay, that's a really good question. You actually added some questions to that. Talk about the art culture in your country, and then we'll go in a global scale.
Okay. So go ahead.
Well, the industry. Well, first off, it's a pretty difficult place because music has a lot of struggles, but the industry over here is pretty great. There are a lot of new musicians, bands who are coming out. They have a lot of different styles. They have a lot of different sounds. So the industry here is growing, but it's still, I would say, pretty hard for musicians, to survive, or for lack of a better word, because we have a few challenges. I guess everyone faces challenges, but the primary challenges start with finances. Wouldn't you agree, Tajwal?
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah. And for dads, it's just the two of us, so everything is split between the two of us. The shares are bigger. If we had, let's say, 5 or 7 members, they would be divided by that number. The
That's
amount
a
would
fucking
be
startup.
decreased. Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
monetary.
yeah. It
Every
is.
other input is only from the two of us. So if we had other members, we could have different inputs and we could divide our work individually, financially or not. So that's
Yeah,
in that way, it's a little bit difficult for us to start off this way. But other than that, we really have the industry to thank because we have great musicians that came before us who are still going strong. I mean, it's because of
yeah,
them that we have platforms in the country right now. We don't want to be the ones to revolutionize in the industry. We just want to do our part in an industry that's already there.
yeah,
It's just not as booming as we would want it to be, but it's still great. We have no complaints whatsoever. I mean, come on, we're in this podcast because of the platform that we got from our country.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
And
yes.
of course, but yeah. So that is we do have to give it to the industry.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah. Would you like to add any more to the? Would you like to say any more on the industry in your country?
That's pretty much it. I mean, there are great bands to look forward to. I mean, you said you messaged hundreds of bands, and so it basically
yeah,
means the industry is big enough to fit in 100 bands that you would
Yep,
like to do
yep,
podcast. So it basically means there are a lot of potential and
yeah,
a lot of ways we can actually there could even be, I've heard people saying that the balance there are a lot of musicians who could probably go worldwide crazy if they were given a better platform. But in that way, we have no complaints whatsoever because we cannot be expecting everything on a silver platter. But we do get what we get because of the industry that they have given us right
uh,
now. Yeah.
that's really that's a really thoughtful thing to think actually. Uh, Probably there's this saying that nowadays making music as a career or different stuff. I think personally, as an artist myself, I think this word music is a vast genre. It's just not you sit in your bedroom and play your guitar and money falls from the sky. It's just not that. It's a
yeah,
lot more that puts on behind that.
yeah,
We just see the outer part. Okay, no, you have a polished music video, music happening,
Yeah.
money here and there. I'm like,
yeah,
fuck no, fuck no. You just go there, it's a blood, sweat, and tears of 7, 8, fucking 10 years. I don't know.
Yeah, I will give you the stupidest example. Let's talk about let's say talk about Machine Gun Kelly. He's in the Billboard every day now. He comes up with a song. It's probably on the Billboard. He comes up with a song, it has millions of views in an instant. But he got fame after a long while. I'm not his biggest fan. I'm just trying to say his story. He had 5 albums, and he has 6 albums. His fifth album was rewarded best album of the year. So in order to go to that level for him to earn the best album of the year, he had to write and go through the struggles of 4 other albums. And then writing one album is not an easy task. All the money, the time, the effort, the art, the ideas, the time you put into it is a lot. And we face the struggles in doing all these in one song. So imagine
yeah.
that.
And it never comes it never comes out easy. And I don't think it should be, because we all need to go through the struggle so that we can truly appreciate what we have earned.
after
So
after
everyone should go through the struggle, and they shouldn't be complaining about it, because this is a part of their job. If you choose this line of work, you need to be prepared for everything that life has to offer.
you cannot just sit back, write music, and expect you're a superstar and get all the money
Yeah,
flowing from the like you say.
yeah,
It doesn't work like that. It's all about the struggles. But I think that goes for every other department in the world. Whatever you do, you want the outcome, you gotta work for it.
yeah,
Yep. Exactly. Well, that's fantastic. Some of the fantastic actually tips we can get from the musicians themselves over here. And please take a listen. And And you'll be blown away, honestly. But the name of that album is Dafan. It has probably 8 songs, and 8 songs are fucking talks about something. The songs, like the name of the songs we hear. One song has a name called Panchi. One is Vidro, Inkilab, Dafan, Aina. Fantastic Hindi.
Yeah.
I would.
Right.
I actually had the fortune to talk with the band itself. I will be posting that podcast soon with Arlon. They
Okay.
actually talked in from New Delhi and stuff, and also I disturbed them a lot, like I did you guys. So yeah. उसके बाद बहुत गाली
It's all
पड़ा
good, man.
um, all right, we talked about the industry on the Bangladesh. What about what do you think about the music industry in a global level? Like we musicians from different countries, different places actually end up in this thing and this world which we call as global music market or global music industry. So what are your thoughts upon this? Like how does this work, or how can musicians start thinking about this? Because that's where honestly and raw, that's where the money comes from to feed your stomach. That's it, honestly.
We're not really sure how that.
Well, yeah, we're still struggling with that. We're trying to go beyond Bangladesh, and our main goal is to try and be there, no matter how hard it may seem. But that is what we're after, and that is one of the reasons why we make our songs in English, so that we have a wider range of audiences who are not limited to just Bangladesh or Kolkata. So we still haven't figured out yet, but it's a learning process. You learn every day, and it is what it is.
I think it's a slow growth, given that we are from a country which is not world famous, as I would say, for music. I mean, there are several countries in the world where everybody else in the world would say, "Yo, this country they got great musicians," and you can probably have tens of different people from tens of different countries saying tens of different other countries with musicians who they prefer from, but they might not be Bangladesh, because we're hardly out there. We are out there for a lot of other aspects, even for music maybe, but not as much as we would hope or we would wish, or as much as we target for our reach to be.
And that's the kind of the reason we kept this podcast in English, actually. Some people come and talk in Hindi and Bengali, and if they prefer to, I would allow them, very of course, because it's a mother tongue. But what I do is add subtitles in English, so that according to study, English is the most spoken language in the entire 199, 98 countries across the entire world. So to reach people knowledge.
The most spoken country? I thought French was the most spoken country. I mean, language.
Is it? No, it's English.
I don't know.
Come on, let's fight.
Internet, thanks to internet.
Yep. That's the one to thank, actually. So I thought, why not let someone can get knowledge from all the people who admire. Maybe it's artists, creators. Like we see interviews and podcasts of celebrities and Bollywood stars and Hollywood stars, and I was like, what about the rest? Who will take care of the rest? Where will they come? Where will they talk? Where will the people know about them? And though I've started this podcast just a month back, it has not grown fully, but it's growing day by day. And thanks to all of the you people, great people who come here to share your knowledge. It means a lot, man. I thought, why not? Let's, we have a tendency of, sitting down and fucking complaining about stuff. Like, this is not happening, government is not doing, this is not happening, that is not happening. And I thought, okay, that's not happening, fine. Let me start, and then something will happen, probably.
Maybe, it's got to start somewhere. Somebody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I had a lot of musicians and artists didn't reply back, but that's fine, actually. The ones who replied back are people like you. We're sitting over here at the midnight talking, disturbing all your lives. So that was the kind of the reason to start this podcast, Music Stan. We have channels like Comic Stan and this Stan. I'm like, okay, we have Rajasthan, and why not Music Stan? Come on. Uh, so yeah, that's my pretty shitty story about this podcast. I would like to ask you this question finally. How
Yeah.
did Dads in the Park form? Please give me a brief answer. I really would love to know because I've been a fan of your music personally for years. So I don't know about the audience. For
Thank
me,
you.
please come on now.
Thank you so much.
So
So,
before he answers the question, I'd like to say, so when you asked us about our influences, that's exactly why I wanted to mention the last few bands that I did that influenced me upon my recent times, that influenced me in my writing. And I would like you to match them with the influence that he mentioned in his recent times from previous times. We have common names like Kings of Leon and Alter Bridge and Linkin Park maybe, and Bring Me
yeah.
the Horizon. So that's the common ground that we have, that we
Don't forget the Foo Fighters.
don't forget Foo
The Pooh.
Fighters, of course.
Have you watched that video that the Foo Fighters break a leg during a fight in that stage?
Yeah.
That's
We'll
fantastic.
probably break a leg just on purpose, just so we can be the talk of the town. Just like
Yes. A good marketing strategy they have.
Great, great marketing. That's great marketing.
Fantastic. Yeah. Anyway,
That's
yep.
that's not it. Somebody, go.
Yeah, so we actually met in our university. We went to the same school. I was in my junior year. Tajwar was a freshman. We have different points of view to the story, but I think mine is true. It's more accurate. I saw Tajwar playing a guitar in the corner of the cafeteria, and I saw I saw the way he was strumming the guitar. I couldn't hear what he was playing, but I saw how he was strumming the guitar, and I was like, yeah, this guy can play. So I called him over. Then we ended up talking. He played some. I still remember. He played some. He played "Bullet from a Valentine." I don't remember any other songs because I remember him playing "Bullet from a Valentine." I was like, "Hey, I like him." So, but then we ended up talking, and then I learned that he lived really far away from me. So at that moment, my dreams of forming a band shattered. But fast forward, we met in 2014.
14,
Probably, yeah, we met in 2014. And it wasn't until 2016 where we played together. So, yeah.
Wow.
So it took 2 years.
Yeah, so in 2017 we started writing songs, and in 2019 we came up with the first release and so on. But that story is a lie. How it happened? I'll tell you.
That is exactly what happened.
I'll tell you what happened.
No. First fight. I want a fight.
There's gonna be no fight.
All right, let's hear the story first.
The lie he came up with. I'll tell you my story. Then anybody listening to this podcast, you can decide whichever the story it can actually be. My story is, I went to my university and I had no friends there because all my friends were still trying for other universities, and they were probably still trying to finish their high school. And so
that's why I became his friend.
And then that's when he did not become.
So you guys also were lonely.
I put him under my wing.
Okay, wow.
He did no such thing. He knew that we had similar tastes, and then fast forward to 2016, we played a song which we knew that we had similar taste on because of 2014's discussion, and then we played that song, and that's when we decided, yo, how about we write originals? And that's when we started. The rest of it is bullshit.
And that is how I put him under my wing.
Yeah.
You can make sure your listeners can decide whichever the truth is.
Yeah. I'll talk to Netflix and when they make the documentary about us.
Yep.
My version of the story goes.
Okay. Then what will happen is there will be a boxing ring. You guys will put on together. Whoever the fuck wins, their story will go up on Netflix. Come on.
None of us are
damn straight.
We're skinny, weaklings. We have no strength.
We'll have an intellectual fight.
Musicians, sign of musicians, no money, no food.
Yeah.
No food, nothing.
No instruments, only a probably a 946 DRDO strings running on for 6 months on a guitar.
I swear to God, I have a few guitars. I don't like any of them, so I can just say I don't have it.
Oh, that's what happens when Dad's in the park and the podcast. Okay, by the way, who the fuck came up with this name Dad's in the podcast? It's just Dad's in the park is just I was just about to say Dad's in the podcast. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be
Yeah.
crazy. That could be your episode's name.
Yeah.
Who came
So
up with the
yeah,
name Dad's in the park? Yeah, sure.
yeah, I came up with the name, and I just wanted something that sounded unique, and I didn't want a single word like, I don't know, oblivion. Yeah,
There's probably a band called Oblivion right now.
yeah, maybe. I didn't want a single word which makes no sense. So I actually came up with the name, and I thought this sounds really cool. This has to be a band. So
Yeah.
That sounds like a band name. Yo, Dad's in the park.
It's kind of a when you hear this entire sentence, Dad's in the, it's kind of a laid back autumn leaves falling and Opeth song is going on inside your hair. Sorry, Dad's in the Park song is going on inside your hair. That's kind of a thing. And also I saw the wallpaper of you guys on YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah.
both are animated. One
Oh,
is
yeah, yeah.
here who has lost his hair, and I scolded him for losing his hair, guys. Sorry, I didn't. And now you have done injustice to me. Come on, man, you shouldn't have cut that hair. This is,
Yeah, I know. I regret it. I regret it every day. Don't worry about it.
how can I love you like this? Come on.
Come on, this is still me. I didn't come up with the music from the hair, man. I came up with the music from my head.
But sometimes hair influences music. You know, we have all those 80s Pantera, Dimebag, ripping off guitar solos with hair and stuff.
Yeah, I used to think all his music came from his beard because it was red.
Interesting.
So basically, my music probably came out from my hair, which were dreads. It's not anymore.
Sad life. Sorry, SED, sad life. We have this meme.
Sad life.
Sad life.
We have it here in Bangladesh as well.
Very, very sad life.
Very sad life.
Tell us or take us through the process of how Dad's in the Park, or you guys, write songs. What does it predict? What messages does it give out to the entire world?
All right, so you just asked 50 questions. Let's start with how we write the songs. All right.
Okay.
So I write the songs first. I come up with the structure of. I usually start with a verse and a chorus, and then I send it over to Tajwar. If he likes it, then I keep working on it. Otherwise, I don't want to waste my energy. So let's say he likes it. Then I complete the song, I complete the structure and everything, and then I send it over, and we sit together where Tajwar does the arrangement. He, what do? You produce the drums?
Musical composition.
What is the term?
And that comes to my mind.
Yeah, we come up with the second guitars, the backup vocals, the drums, synth, everything. He programs it, and once he's done with that, we have a general idea of how the song might turn out to be. So that is how we write the song. I start the song, and then he finishes it. Of course, everything is a team effort.
That's a team effort, yeah, no doubt.
So is there a starting point, a theme you follow for writing the songs? Because all of your songs, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I hear has something which I've not heard in any of the songs or the music tastes or the music ground I have. How does it make it different? Like is there a certain thing you follow in every song, or you just come up with anything
I don't
abstract?
know. I like to keep things abstract because I find it more. I think like when I'm listening to someone else's song, if it's completely straightforward, it doesn't hold a separate meaning for me because I'm just listening to what the other singer is saying directly. But on the other hand, if the meaning is abstract, I can have a completely different image in my mind, and that image keeps the song alive for me. You know what I mean? And when I write songs, it's different for every song. I don't have a theme. Like I don't start a song with a theme. I might come out. I might come up with a piece, and then the theme comes with the feel of the piece that I created. And in other times, I might have a theme in mind, and then I work with the theme and come up with the entire song. So it differs. It differs for every song.
Um, pretty amazing, just fantastic stuff. Anything you want to
It's
add?
normal.
Our
What?
missing hair. I would like to call you missing hair.
Whatever, you can call me whatever. You can just name me under the screen. Missing hair dude.
Missing hair, call on this number. I'll provide that contact.
Dude, please call found.
Oh my god. Child lost. Yeah, but anything you want to add? Like, yeah.
Yeah, but I honestly have nothing to add on to this because I don't write the lyrics at all. I think as far as I can remember, I wrote 4 lines of a song that did not come out yet. And when I wrote
Yes.
those 4 lines,
And those 4 lines are amazing.
when I wrote those 4 lines, I wrote it so that he gets an idea into, oh, this could be, I could write something like this. I never thought he would accept you. Oh, these are great. Let's just keep
Have you ever scolded him for those 4 lines?
Oh, I mean, of
Who
course.
scolded whom? I liked it. I did some minor tweaks, but I kept
Yeah,
it because
well,
I'm lazy.
I
I
mean,
didn't want to write 4 lines.
besides, I tried writing songs. It's just not for me. I kind of accepted it some years back that writing songs in general, I think songwriting is not for me. I can come up with music and everything. I think that's how we believe in each other so much as to when he comes up with a song. It's mostly I usually like most of the things that he writes because it gives me a lot of different ideas musically, instrumentally, and arrangement wise. That's who I am. So if I accept myself as that, I don't have to focus on what the things that I can do, which is writing songs. I mean melodies or lyrics. So I focus on writing the music. So when he comes up with this song, and in any song that I keep thinking, what kind of instruments? I usually pops up in my head as I keep listening to what he's singing, and then I would like this song to be like this, and then we discuss it, and then if he has a different approach to it, and then that's when we jot down our ideas. And if not, sometimes it could even be, yo, I have this idea, and he's like, yo, this is great, and I'm like, this is great. Let's just set it on that. That usually happens when we. That usually doesn't happen. I mean, that's probably the fastest process for our writings while we write songs.
Yeah,
The
I
longest
think we
process.
both play very different roles in the band, and I think that is how we don't get in the way of each other, and we can work together to make the final product. And we have disagreements, and it's pretty normal. You can agree on everything. So sometimes we have to scrap ideas. Sometimes we have to come up with new material. So that is how it works.
That's kind of how it works, yeah. So I focus on my expertise, area of expertise. He does his shit, and then we combine both, and that's how we write songs. That's the whole process.
Oh,
It's pretty. It's
that's,
pretty easy.
well, I don't think so.
It's crazy.
What goes behind the production of each and every one of your projects that comes out? Because the production, I don't have to say this, you guys already know it's massive. It just delivers a punch like this inside your entire mind when you hear it.
But for that, all credit would have to go to the producers of the songs, which are neither of us. We only write the songs and record the songs, and the mix and mastering final product of the final product is usually if the quality of the product goes to the producers.
The producers, they do a brilliant job. They understand what we're trying to say.
We try to express
I think
we try to tell them that this is how we wrote the song, and this is how we want it to sound in the record. And that's how they come up with their ideas sometimes. Because we're friends with them. The two producers that we go to are A.K. Ratul from Owned. He's from a very well-known band in Bangladesh. and another producer is Raihan Mahmood Rasha. He's not from any band as far as I know right now, but he's a great producer, and most of our songs are produced by him. And they put in their input, and that's I think there's also a team effort there as well. Because if they didn't
Yeah.
put in their effort, and if they just record the song and then gave us the the file, it wouldn't have sounded as much as good as you say it does. So credit goes to them as well for the final product
Yeah.
of the song.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I would like to ask this question. What are your thoughts on making music as a career, making a living out of music, especially for two cases? Number one, someone is doing things for a while and hasn't got to place, because this is the burning question every artist has. I don't like to use this word small or big, because I don't think artists are small or big. Artists are just artists, just art, motherfucker. Nothing small or big. Um, what do you like to say about having a perspective on this? Like how to make a living, make a career in music for a beginner artist who's starting out, or even an artist who is doing something for a while and not getting anywhere.
All right. So we're still a pretty young band. We're not that experienced, I guess. So we are still struggling to earn enough to make a living out of it. I have a full-time job. Tadwar graduated recently. We're both engineers. So let's say with my, let's say currently, if I give up my job in engineering, honestly, I don't think I'd be able to survive, because there's a long way to go. And so far we only have 5 songs, right? So I think in order to make this a full-time career, we just have to keep at it. And it's not easy. You see, even for engineering, I had to study for how many years? 10 years in school, 2 years in college, and 4 years in the university. It all adds up, right? It all adds up to my engineering degree. So similarly, it will take time in music as well. So you can just expect to write a song and release it, and people will love it. They'll shower you with money. It's not that easy. And the thing is, I know a lot of people, a lot of artists who just rely on their songs. But as we go, it's a learning process for the two of us. You can't just rely on your music. You might have the greatest song in the world, but if no one hears it, it doesn't mean anything to anyone, right? So you need to treat your art form as a business. This band that we have, I'm trying to make this into a self-sustaining business, so that I need to push my music to the people. Otherwise, my music is nothing. You know what I mean? So once my music is out there, I can expect to get a return from it.
Wow.
So this is our goal.
Wow. Where did you go? You went to find your hair.
Something happened from my something happened to my internet.
Okay. Not an issue. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this one? Making music as a career, making a living out of music for
So,
both scenarios. Number one, for artists who are starting out, thinking of this is a shiny thing to do doing, which is not. We all know. Number two is artists who are doing and musicians who are doing stuff. No, maybe there may be a session player, maybe they're working on films, they're working on some teaching students and this and that. A lot of arenas which go into music. What are you would you like shine your thoughts on this one?
yeah, well, like you said, I think personally the two scenarios that you mentioned are not musicians' career in music is not limited to that. I mean, there are film score writers. I mean, they only write. Hans Zimmer
Oh my
is a
god,
great
fantastic.
award-winning musician. He has no bands. He doesn't sing, and he's a millionaire, and he's got thousands of awards, and everybody in the world knows him. Everybody wants him to write music for their movies. So obviously, it's not limited to those kind of things. There are people who write songs for advertisers, jingles, and everything else. So they prefer that, and that's what their expertise lies, and they don't mind putting their creative effort into those kind of things. So anybody who's starting out needs to know what they actually want and has to have the drive and the passion for it. Like we
Yeah,
both
you
know for
just got to keep at it.
we both know for sure we're not looking for awards yet. We're not looking for millions of bucks, or we're not looking to be the best band in the world. We both just want to write music so that it gives us. We just want to write music so we can write music till the end of our lives, so that music is the thing that helps us sustain. That's what we want.
Yeah.
We want to be writing music till the end of our lives. We want to be playing music for the rest of our lives. That's what we want. We don't need to be looking for awards. We don't need to be the best band in the world. But if we do get to be the best band in the world, then why not?
Yeah, I'll quit my job in a heartbeat.
Quit my job in heartbeat, yeah. So like I say, if anybody out needs to have the drive and the passion and needs to know what they actually want. And whatever you do,
Yeah.
there's no looking down upon anybody. If anybody wants to be a solo musician, they can be a solo musician. They can have the respect. If anybody wants to be just a songwriter for other artists, they can also be themselves. There are lyricists and composers who compose and write lyrics for other songs.
For other
People know about them, but that's what they enjoy, and that's where their expertise lies. And so obviously, they would prefer doing that because that's where their passion lies. That's how they started out, and that's where they know they're good at. And if they can make a living out of it, then why not?
Wow. And of course, what do you think about all of the digitalization that's happening in the realm of music? Like we have Spotify, we have Apple Music, we have Amazon Music. We can distribute like this internet has like to talk about pros and cons. This internet has actually what I think as an artist myself, and I guess we kind of probably have the same thinking over here. It has actually given us a lot more reach to people rather than we had in the previous record days. We just can't go to the music shop and give our CDs and we can expect a million copies sold, like Metallica sold their Black Album and stuff. So, what are your thoughts on this one? Like, what about digitization in the realm of music?
Yeah, digitalization has helped us a lot in the sense that we can get our music out there by sitting at our homes. We don't have to go anywhere. You just have to put it on the internet. But there's also a downside. There's an ocean of content where it's very easy to get lost. So this is one of the downsides of digitalization.
So you have to be that creative that it doesn't get abandoned.
Yeah, it is so that it doesn't get drowned.
Exactly. Fantastic.
Yeah, but thanks to the internet, I mean, that's how you came across our music. I mean, if it wasn't for the digitalization of musical platforms, I don't think we'd be able to reach as much as audience we have up until now.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Everything has its good and bad.
So, how did you learn singing? By the way, I would really like to know that because it's just fantastic when I listen to all of the songs.
Thank you. Well, to be honest, I never had a formal training. I only went to a teacher to learn the guitar. But he's a fantastic teacher. His name is Souparna. He taught me everything I know. He actually pushed me to train my voice. I would hate singing in front of him because I knew I sucked. So he showed me how to play the harmonium and to practice at home, and I did that. And eventually I started listening to John Denver. I was a huge fan. I still am a huge fan of John Denver, especially because I think my range fits perfectly with his. So hence I could practice his style of singing and I could then develop my own. And then I explored to other artists, and that is how I learned. I used to copy John Denver's style, and eventually, I guess I found my own style. I'm not sure. That's for the listeners to decide.
Yep. The jury is out. So you basically self-taught in the realm of singing and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. We'd all love to have self lessons like that. Uh, what are you some like? If I ask you, what are the two most important things? Like, I would like this answer from both of you. Two from you and two from you. 2 points that you would tell an artist, a starting artist, to do. First and foremost thing. 2 points, important points.
All right. First off, I think it's the most common one: practice. And second is time. I think time is really crucial. A lot of us, we all look for shortcuts, and that is the worst possible way to learn music. Yeah, no patience. You need to learn what's happening behind the song. This is what I used to do. When I picked up a song, it's easy to pick up a song, but I always kept wondering why the song is played like this, why these notes are played, which mode is it in. So I always did my research. I still do my research when I hear something, it sounds different. Let's see what's happening here. I completely break it down. So it might be time consuming, but it helps me to write my own music in a new way. You know what I mean? So I think everyone should, yeah, we all look for shortcuts, but sometimes it's good to stop and truly take it in.
So number one being that you have to practice, be fucking good at your craft. And second would be have some fucking patience. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your two special points?
I would have said practice in my initial point as well, but since he said it, I'd like to say something else. That would be ready to take criticism very well. I mean, if you're not ready to, or learn from people that give you advice, or even learn from people that listen to your craft. Maybe they're not better at doing what you're doing right now, but I don't think that's the point. I mean, every listeners we have are not all of them are not musicians, so we can't expect musicians to give us the proper critiques, reviews. So in that way, you're supposed to be able to take anything from anybody and take it as advice to improve your craft and the work that you put in. And the second point would be the same that he said. I think time is a very crucial thing. You gotta be patient. I don't really have a lot of patience. I still hope that tomorrow will be the day I play Lollapalooza, I guess. Hey,
this is a trending stuff.
Yeah, Lollapalooza this time. They didn't announce the lineup yet. It could be us. I'm just still hoping. They could call
on, man. Go on. Yes. Fuck yes.
Can you come over to Germany and play? We're doing this in Germany this time.
Sure, I'm coming. Right now, I'm catching the flight. Wait.
Yeah,
just send me $200,000 for the flight ticket.
Other members, passports and visa,
food, passport, visa, everything.
Yeah.
I'm coming with my guitars. You pay for everything. That's right. That's the sign that we are musicians. So yeah, poverty follows us. That's probably it. Anything like we probably have millions of listeners on you of your songs on YouTube. Probably
we don't have millions of listeners.
Come on, man. I have listened a million times to all of your songs. Come on. What are we as listeners expecting from Dads in the Park in the future?
Well, hopefully more music.
Definitely.
That's a start.
That's the proper product that a band can give you as musicians, music itself. But other than that, like he was saying, in a way, I think we're both in a state right now that we're still trying to find our own sound, since we both learned music ourselves. We never had proper guidance, but proper as in academic guidance or anybody to teach us from start to the finish line.
Or industry guidance or networking and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
No,
everything
we
we have to
never
learn.
had coaches.
Yeah, so we're musically, we're still trying to find the sound that defines us in a way. When we write our songs, we're still in the thought of writing things that me personally, when I write my musical parts, I think of things that I want to write, but I also give space to give in the thought about what people are going to think about what I write. It's not completely based on what they think, and it's not selfishly based on what I want. So it's a mix of both. Mostly it's what I want, obviously, it's my expression. But other than that, we're still both trying to find out if our expression is something that is completely unique from everybody else in the world or in the industry.
Wow.
So when we find it will be the sweetest spot for a musician or a band in general. So if anybody's hoping what we're going to come up with, it's the final goal that we want as musicians. It's probably the main sound that we can come up with that defines who we are as musicians.
Well, fantastic, eye-opening. Yeah. Lastly, I would like to ask, any advice for me as a creator and as an artist?
Yeah, you are. I mean, I'm just because you don't have 5 songs out in the world, it doesn't make you any less of a musician than we are.
Yeah.
And I like to believe that if anybody has thousands of awards and 50 music videos, doesn't make them any bigger than, it doesn't make us any less of a musician than they are, because it's a world of craft and it's art and creativity in general. So I could probably write a song someday which is better than any song in the world. But we still know if there are already thousands of other songs where you can subjectively say is the best song in the world. I would say something else, and he would say something else. Someone else would say something else. So in that case, I don't think there's no limit for you to learn and grow. And so we cannot give you any advice for you to know this is the step you're going to have to take for you to be a musician. All we can tell you is just you keep doing what you're doing, and that's pretty much. Don't give a fuck what people say, if that's what you're. I mean, I do give a little fuck. That's what I'm going to say.
We all do. We all do.
Not all. Don't give all your fucks to everybody else.
A little fuck. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. So we are expecting some more sounds from That's in the Park themselves. I would thank you again for taking a time out of your hectic schedule all day. We're talking for the audience.
Thank you so much
we're
for
talking
having us.
in the midnight right now, and they are talking with me. So glad that I had you on my podcast. Probably, if I'm fortunate enough, I'll probably make a song with you guys.
Yeah, someday.
Yeah, of course, someday. Come on, man. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for coming from this. This is just a fanboy right here. I'm a biggest fan of your music.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for coming, man. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me and as well as the audience. Please don't forget to listen to That's in the Park. I'll put they don't need an introduction already. Half of the entire earth knows them, and and I'll leave each and every link in the description possible. Please do check them out and don't forget to follow Music Stan. That's it. Probably. Thank you so much. Have a great night and great days ahead. Salute, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good night. Bye bye.
Good night. Bye bye.